Hello, my name is Victoria and you're watching Plantastic. So today we're going to be cleaning my 5-gallon tank. These are the things that I'm using. These are just some things that you really need. So before you start doing anything, you need to unplug everything. You need to get all the electrical stuff out of the way so that way you don't electrocute yourself, because that wouldn't be very fun. So I like to start by removing all of the old leaves from the tank. That just is something I kind of do throughout cleaning, because as I clean, more leaves kind of float up. I don't remove my Betta from the tank simply because I'm not doing a full-blown, like if I was doing a full water change, I would, but I do pretty much I think it's like a 50 or 70% water change, so he has room. And there's also a snail in there, but I don't know if you will ever see him because he's nocturnal and he just likes to hide. So I think it's really important to trim every now and again. So once these, I don't know, mystery plant in the back that I've trimmed, once it gets kind of scrawny and all over the place, I kind of just trim it up. And then I put it in this cup, and then where it goes is it just goes in that big reservoir that I'm using to empty and collect the tank water for. And I use that water for my plants. So when I'm gravel vacuuming, I really kind of just focus on the front, and that's just because I don't feel like rearranging the plants every single week, simply because it just takes so much time. One of the best decisions I ever made was gluing my Nubius to this fake rock here. It was just so nice to do that. All the smaller plants, basically every time I did a water change, their whole world would get rocked. They would be all over the place, and it would take me forever to get them back where they looked good. So here I'm just taking this and I'm going to hang it up so that way it's ready for next time, and it's like dried out and it's not just like collecting water. So this is a really important step. You want to have a filter, but you also want to keep it, because it's like you don't want to replace it because you're going to lose all that good bacteria. So here I'm just taking it, I'm putting it in a cup so it doesn't drip everywhere, and I'm just going to take it to the sink and I'm just going to rinse it off. And rinsing it off is just going to remove all the plant debris and anything else that kind of gets stuck in there. Sometimes there's like snail eggs or whatever, and you want to do that because if you don't, enough of that debris can collect and you're not going to be able to have the water sucking in and pouring out. Like, I've had it happen. It only happened one time. I had somebody basically clean my tank for me while I was out traveling, and they didn't rinse it out, and I almost lost my filter. But anyways, because it can prevent the water from flowing back in this specific tank setup. Because if it can't get through there, if it gets blocked, there's no way for water to go in through the intake. This is a sponge, and it's just a plain white sponge. It looks really gross. I've been using it for a while. It doesn't have any chemicals on here. So there's a very, very thin film of algae, and I just basically scrub that off. I know I've already taken all the water out, but it'll be okay, even though the algae's in there. So then I refill it with distilled water, and then I spray the glass cleaner onto the rag, and then I wipe it down. And I do that because if you spray it onto the glass, you could get some of those chemicals in the tank, and you don't want to harm your fish. So I'm just wiping down water spots and dust and whatever else is going to occlude a person's view trying to see the fish. So now I've cleaned the top piece of glass as well, and I'm basically just rearranging everything. And this light is very strong. It is the Finex light, and I have it on white right now for you to see him, but I leave it on blue because the algae just takes over the whole tank. And I also have it on for a little bit of a day. I think I leave it on for 10 or 12 hours on blue and it's fine. But if I leave it on the white light, it is algae takes over. So here he is. He's so happy. This is something else that I added. This is completely optional. I love just automating everything that I can. And one of the things that I did after I went on a vacation was I just continued using this timed feeder. You can have it to where it feeds once or just twice a day. It feeds him between 4 and 5 pellets, sometimes 3 in the mornings. So I leave a little space there, and the pellets don't get wet, which is really nice. So they just, whenever the time comes, it's like a clock, and it just pushes the pellets in. So here he is enjoying everything. He really likes to look around and is like very questioning of his environment. Like he's just like kind of suspicious, and then he goes and kind of hides behind the rock. So you want to make sure your water outtake is pointing up. Here is what I do with my water. I collect it and I use it to water all of my plants. So they get all of that good deliciousness that my fish left behind that week. And it's really nice. It's like 80 or 70 degrees after I take it out of the tank. So I feel like it's like almost like a spa. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.